So I'm here with Curt Whipple, the coach of the FTP coaching program here with M&O Marketing. And the goal of our conversation here today is to really let all of our viewers know who you are, what you do, and ultimately how you can help their practices improve. Curt, thank you so much for being here with us today. I think a great place to start would be telling the audience how you got into the financial services business. Let's start there.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled. I used to be in radio and television broadcasting, and some things happened that caused me to realize that's not where I wanted to stay. And had a guy from my church call me up and say, hey, I want to come by and talk to you about something. And I said, well, you know, I'm not going to let you come by unless you tell me what it is first. And so he did tell me it was, he wanted to talk to me about life insurance. And of course, we had a little baby girl at the time. And so I welcomed him over, and he showed me a universal life policy with a really high interest rate at the time. So the cash value growth looked really powerful. And so I looked at him, I said, hey, how much do you make selling this? And he said, I don't know, you're my first prospect. So anyway, I ended up talking to his boss, and I started doing it part-time while still in radio, and then finally left radio and went full-time into financial services at that point.
And you've been doing this now for how long?
Since I started part-time in 1984. And so, yeah, about 39 years, if you count 1984, I guess.
So you've been super successful in building your practice and your business over the years. I got to imagine there were challenges. What would you say your biggest challenges were?
I would say probably one of the biggest challenges was even though I had a person that I could say was somewhat successful in the business to give me some pointers, I never really had a good system or a good process to follow. So a lot of it I was left to try to figure out on my own. And that is a lonely place to be in this business. When you're trying to figure things out on your own and you're not getting the help, you're not getting the guidance that you need. And so that was probably one of the biggest obstacle, was just trying to find a way, how do I really get started? What's the systems I need to follow?
Curt, was there a point when you had an aha moment where things just started to click and your business took off?
Yeah, unfortunately that aha moment came in quite a ways down the road. It was in 2001, and I finally learned the art, quote unquote, the art of doing seminars, and that there's a certain way to do it and not do it. And you know, I know there are a lot of people today who say, oh, but everybody's doing seminars, and you know, my territory is all messed up. There's too many guys doing it or gals doing it. And while there may be a lot of people doing seminars, there's not a lot of people who are doing it really, really well. And when you do a seminar extremely well, it will work tremendously for you. Now, in addition to the seminars, I also was frustrated with how do I do a client presentation? You know, I saw software programs out there that, you know, they print out a 20, 30-page report for the prospect for you to share with the prospect. And frankly, I just thought that was overkill and people weren't really getting it. So I actually created my own program back in 2001 called Red, Blue, Green Concepts. And it's a client presentation system that, frankly, all you have to do is master it and then rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. And it'll do all the work for you, because the prospect actually, for the first time, many times I've heard them say, well, I get it. I finally get it. You know, and it's a simple little 5 or 6 page presentation, but boy, it does some miraculous things.
So let's go back and talk about seminars and seminar marketing. You had mentioned that a moment ago. You are one of 22 nationally recognized and internationally recognized Forbes speakers, so 22 in the whole world. That's a big deal, and I've seen you speak at seminars. You're fantastic. What advice do you have for advisors and agents that are doing financial seminars right now, or those that are thinking about doing them?
Probably first and foremost, make sure you have the right seminar to market. There's a lot of pre-done seminars out there that are offered around the country that frankly just don't have the pulling power that other seminars do. So I think what a lot of advisors miss is the fact that the seminar needs to be talking about what's in it for them, what's in it for your audience. It shouldn't be all about, gee, how great are you as a financial advisor? Although we want authority, we want to make sure people understand that we know what we're talking about. But if they're not part of a seminar that they see a significant difference in what you're presenting compared to other advisors, well, then you are a commodity, right? You are just like every other seminar out there. What I found is through the FTP process, there are multiple seminars that are all highly tested, highly successful, that really all anybody has to do is plug into the FTP process and the systems, and they're good to go as far as the seminar goes. And then the last part would be probably that I see people fail at is they don't rehearse or practice the seminar out loud in private enough. You have to practice it until you just almost know it by heart. And then when you present it in a room full of people, it will come off as confident and professional.
So let's talk sales process. RBG Concepts has had such a positive impact on your business and many other advisors' business that we work with now over the years. Tell us a little bit about what it does for the end user, the consumer that's looking at it, as well as the advisor that's using it in their business.
Yeah, well, for the consumer, I couldn't even count how many times I've had a couple in my office, say a husband and wife, and maybe one of them is not the financial person and the other is. And typically that might be the wife who's the non-financial person, not always by any means. But the number of times that the non-financial person, when I'm done presenting RBG, will look at me and say, you know what, for the first time in my life, I get it. This makes sense to me. And that's so fun. And then secondly, the program is designed in such a way that as it's being presented, it's very much conversational, and the prospects actually sell themselves on the solution, which is basically what you're trying to help them identify. So from the prospect standpoint, it's irreplaceable. From the advisor standpoint, it gives them a path to follow in a presentation that helps them be authoritative, but mildly, not overly, helps them to really have great communication skills and gently and properly guide the prospect to a decision that's right for that prospect. And so when the prospect makes the decision, and it's not a decision that's being sold to them, then the sales ratio goes sky high. I mean, I'll just share this, Ray. When I first developed RBG, I was earning about $250,000 a year of commissions and fees. 6 years later, I did $2.7 million of commissions and fees. In just 6 years, a 10x return, and that's all because of the RBG system. One of the beauties of RBG is you don't have to close. So many times it's like, well, you gotta learn how to close, you gotta learn how to close. Well, with the RBG system, it's just a natural conclusion.
Curt, let's talk about coaching. You've got such a passion for it. Why is it so important for advisors and agents to find a coach in this business?
Time. Time is the key. Somebody can spend years, like I did, from 1984, starting part-time, all the way through the year 2000. I mean, 16 years, I battled to make a living, and I was paying the bills and everything. Everything was good in that respect, but as far as really, truly finding the success I was looking for, it seemed out of reach. And so I would say from a coaching standpoint, what it will do is it will take that 16 years of being in the desert, so to speak, and trying to find your way, and it will shorten that down to maybe a year. Now, I know that sounds funny, but it's true. If you find somebody who's done what you want to do, and you hop on their coattails and will listen to them, and then not only the coach, but also have an organization behind you, like M&O Marketing, that brings in the professionalism, gives you the authority, helps you get in articles and newspapers or on television, helps you with your brochures and your materials and your business cards and your website. I mean, that's the organizational side of it. And then you have a coach who comes alongside you and guides you and teaches you. All you have to do is learn A, B, and C, and then rinse and repeat. And if you'll do A, B, and C, rinse and repeat, get yourself hooked up with a really great organization that's going to support you properly, that's going to make all the difference in the world. And I have to tell you, I was with 5 different companies, marketing organizations, during my career. And the best one was the last one, which was M&O Marketing. And I only wish I could have found M&O as number 1 instead of number 5.
Curt, we've had many advisors and agents coach with you over the years, and now with FTP, it's gotten even better, more accessible. Let's talk about what one can expect when they get into the coaching program, when they start to utilize FTP in their business.
Well, number 1, many people in this industry like to be coaches. But if you have a coach over here in the right hand, and you have your marketing organization over here in the left hand, and the two don't talk, then you don't have that happy mesh that really makes for great success. I think having a coach and a marketing organization who work together as one on behalf of the advisor makes all the difference in the world. And again, with M&O, the thing that M&O will do so well, probably better than any company I've seen, is help the independent advisor build authority. So they can actually go out into the community with authority, and that's a big step for people to have trust in you, is to have that authority. So I think that's the key. And then take somebody who's been the hard 16-year route, who knows everything that didn't work, and then over the last 22 years has suddenly found the answer and has lived it and taught it to others and seen others succeed. That's a 1-2 punch combination that is just necessary in order to find the success you truly want. Because otherwise you could have a coach who's telling you one thing and a marketing organization telling you another, and then you're kind of torn between, well, do I do that or do I do that, right? And that can be very cumbersome.
So Curt, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways, based on what you've shared with me throughout our conversation. If you could go back and give your past self some advice, what would that be?
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, find a coach. Find somebody who's where you want to be, who's still participating in the business, who's cutting edge, you can grab their coattails and follow them. But why a coach is so critical is because they're going to help teach you the 4 systems and process that you need to be successful. You will cut your time to success down dramatically. As I said, it took me 16 years to figure it out. With a coach, you can have it figured out within 12 months.
So Curt, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today and having this conversation with me. I really appreciate everything that you've done with us, for us, and for the advisors that we work with, and I look forward to doing even more in the future. So appreciate you. Thank you so much.
My honor and pleasure.